Hey everyone, this is Jane with Barlow Herbal, and we have Dr. Brandon Nielsen in the house. We have an amazing bit of information we want to share with you about lung health because it seems like we get stuck in these breathing issues and we don't really know how to get rid of them. So we have some amazing information to share with you today. So why don't you start? Because there's something that you were talking about that I didn't realize about patterns.
Oh, you want to talk about
Let's
that?
start
All
with
right.
that because I don't think we realize, even though we know, like, okay, my best example of a pattern that we do subconsciously or unconsciously is we drive somewhere that we're familiar with
hmm
and we don't even remember going there sometimes because
Yes,
it's just a pattern.
it's a pattern. That's exactly right. Yeah. So our bodies, and the longer I've been in clinical practice, I've noticed these patterns in certain individuals, especially with like my children. I'll give you the example, but just like Jane was saying, you get up to a stop sign, and the pattern is to just, with your foot, you're going to push on the brake, you're going to slow down. Our body works off patterns. It works off memorization. It's constantly, some people call it muscle memory, brain memory, whatever it is. Well, what's interesting about sickness is, I'll give you the example. Okay, so my daughter, when she was 2 years old, we came back from Hawaii, and she got RSV. Okay, and after that, what I noticed, so lung viral infection in the lungs, very
That's deep
very
and horrible.
deep,
Yeah.
horrible, deep lung. It's similar to pneumonia. Okay, so just think, I'm just pneumonia. So very deep infection. People die from this. All right. So we got her cleared all up. It's the craziest time I've ever spent with my child. 5 days of sleepless night. It's marathon. Come out the back end, and we're good, but her lungs were still weak. Okay. So we started building those lungs, and I'm going to show you a couple of things that we did to build them. But then after that, I didn't realize what her body would do. So then she would just get, let's say, months later or the next year, she would just get these little sniffles, and they would turn back into this deep lung infection. It didn't go to RSV, but it'd be a deep bronchitis, nearly pneumonia. And you'll hear people say that. They'll say, man, I'm so susceptible. I got pneumonia when I was a child, and I keep getting pneumonia over and over. I get bronchitis, everything always goes to my lungs. Or just the other day, somebody said, it's the craziest thing. I get a little sniffle, and it turns into a sinus infection. So our body deals with patterns. Well, you've got to come along and interrupt that pattern. So, for example, for my daughter, after I realized this was the first time I really started realizing, especially with lungs, that there's a pattern. Now, for years, we believed that lung tissue couldn't you couldn't it couldn't regenerate itself. In fact, I'm not saying go out and smoke, but what we know now is that lung tissue will actually regenerate, including like smokers and those type of things. The lungs, yes, God made our lungs and everything else to be able to regenerate, and the lungs can regenerate, but you've got to give it the right nutrients to be able to regenerate.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to take care of your lungs. And it's not just about smoking because we all know we breathe bad air.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know,
we
we
should probably
have
talk about that as well.
a heavy fire season. You know,
hmm
not just we are in Utah and that we had heavy
Oh
fires here
man,
in Utah.
and we got all the smoke from California
Right. So there's, and people deal with pollution
and asthma
and people deal with inversion
and asthma.
and asthma. Well, and asthma's brought,
Pollution. No, I'm just joking.
no, but asthma's brought on by a lot of these
Pollution and
pollutions
inversion.
and toxins. And the thing is you need to realize what your lungs do for you.
Sorry.
You breathe, and this, if you get a nice deep breath of oxygen, it can feed your organs.
Correct.
And if you have trouble breathing and you have compromised lung capacity, this is something that can compromise the health of your brain, the health of all of your cells, because they depend on your lungs to breathe and carry oxygen-rich blood everywhere. So lung health is something that we've really never covered. So this is
That's
one
true.
reason I wanted to do this. And I've been working on a lung blend for the last about year and a half, and we finally brought it out. And so we wanted to talk about that because there are tools besides lifestyle things like herbal remedies, herbal, beautiful Mother Nature things that
hmm
can help us. And for me, this is helping change a pattern.
Yes,
So that's
exactly.
the goal. This is an interruption of a pattern.
That's exactly right. And so with my daughter, after that, we really helped her out, but then I realized I had to change her pattern and allow her body to completely heal the lungs. And sometimes it can take a long time. And so yes, I use 2 to 3 things constantly. And I went through that. She wasn't on them for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. We're talking, I went through a full blood cycle. So your blood changes out about every 90 to 120 days. So we're looking at 3 to 4 months keeping her on. And my wife is, oh my goodness, she is so amazing. She treats it like food, you know.
Yeah.
So we did an herbal tincture, and I'm gonna show you one of Jane's awesome product that just came out. This wasn't even invented then, but had it been, I mean, it's phenomenal. She has some really cool things like OSHA and some other things. Anyway, so I did that with a lung glandular, and then I did one other thing. So just so you know, generally when you think lungs, I'll either use like a beta glucan, or else I'll use a specific vitamin. So whenever I think of lungs and anything going to the lung, I'll usually use vitamin D. If
Yeah.
it's more eye upper, then I'll use more vitamin A. So we're definitely supplementing with those things.
Yeah, the
So
vitamins are super important.
absolutely. So, but again, so I kept her on those things for about 3, 4 months, and then finally we broke that pattern. So now she'll get a sniffle, that type of thing. And sometimes people think, well, she grew out of it. No, she grew healthy.
Yeah, you
Yes,
provided her body the tools to do
it
that.
changed, and so she no longer
Yeah.
has. So guess what? When she's an adult, she's not going to get pneumonia unless she gets really down. But she knows what to do now. But
And
that's the
how old is
coolest
she
thing.
now?
She's 8 now.
She's 8. So this
So
was when
six.
she was 2.
Yeah, so 6 years later, I mean, but I've seen this clinically. I see this over and over with people, and they'll be like, "Oh, it always goes to the lungs." Oh, I know
Yeah,
what to do.
so let's change the pattern. Okay,
So let's
so
talk about a couple of things. Let's save yours for
okay.
the magic. So I would do constantly happening with lungs. I would actually start doing a higher dosage of vitamin D. So depending on your weight, I usually recommend about 1,000 IU's per 35 pounds of body weight. So if you're 100 pounds, you're looking at about 3,500 IU's. And in that, I would actually, if you're in the infection, I would actually double that, and I would actually use a little bit of vitamin A. So now let's talk about if we're changing a pattern. I would still use vitamin D, okay? And then I would use a glandular by standard process, or you can use any lung glandular. This is
Hold
done
that
really
close
well.
to the
Thank you. This is the one I use right there. Or it's called pneumotrophin PMG. It's actually a lung glandular. And then can I introduce it?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
better.
yeah.
You
No, no,
better.
no, no, no. Go
Oh my
ahead.
goodness, you
This
guys.
is this is
This is the magic right here. Are you ready? Let me just twist the label. Lung blend. Do you
okay,
see
but
that? Look at that. But look at that. This is so beautiful.
look at how pretty this is.
Oh my gracious. Can you
Okay,
see it? Try to hold that. It's so amazing.
look,
Look
it's
at that. Just
deep dark
it's just
green.
we're just talking Mother Nature just blessed us. Look at this. Right here we have OSHA, lungwort, lobelia. Oh my goodness, you guys have lobelia. That's right. And mullein or mullein. Pretty strong. It's the real stuff.
Whew.
Plantain, peppermint. Did you just see her cough? No, I'm being serious.
Yeah,
That is
made
for
my
the
eyes
lungs.
water a
No, no,
little.
but that is for the lungs. It actually just stimulated your bronchioles.
Yeah.
And
No, and it's honestly now my whole
so
throat and
awesome.
right here is warm.
Yes.
Like that fast.
One other thing, you guys,
Here, you got to try that.
what I'll use, I will in just a minute. I don't want to cough because then I can't talk because I'm talking because you can't talk yet.
I can talk.
Oh, use cayenne. She just took a full dose of cayenne now. One other thing I would, for some of you essential oilers out there, I would actually use a diluted oregano, and you
Yep.
can actually do it on the feet. Be careful, make sure it's dilute enough, otherwise you can burn, but you can actually do it on the back. And then sometimes for you essential oilers is I'd actually run a diffuse as well. Are you going to do that for 3 months, 4 months? No, you're actually not. But you might do it every other day or something, just once or twice a week to actually help kind of clear things out.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think about peppermint in a diffuser?
Excellent. Excellent for lung, oregano oil, eucalyptus, melaleuca oil, phenomenal.
Yep.
Cleanse the airs, and you're going to actually help those capillaries.
So tea
One,
tree.
the
So tea
other
tree
thing,
oil.
the last thing, you guys, this is the combination. I'm going to tell you the final secret. I should have saved this one last because this is really the secret right here, you guys. But the one other thing I would do for you guys that are chronic lung and you really want to change the pattern is you're going to get a nebulizer, and you're going to do, it's up to you, but I'd use our nano silver because it's very safe. You'd use a nano silver, and you do that every day, 7 to 10 minutes. The reason why I use ours is because your parts per million isn't too high, and it's a nano silver, and that will go down there, Jane, and you will heal lung tissue. This with the nano. I didn't bring it in, I just thought of it, but it's phenomenal. That's how you heal lung tissue. But you
Yeah.
guys, seriously, this right here,
Is a game
this is
changer.
Mother Nature. This is just like, here, I'm giving you a blessing in a bottle. This is also directly, and then you have your nano silver. That combination, seriously,
Yeah, and
phenomenal.
then like you said, be prepared to do 3 to 4 to even 6 months. Because when we were first talking about this, the first
Yes,
thing you said was 6 months.
absolutely.
And
I
at
didn't want to
least,
scare them away, but sometimes
no, to
you
me
guys, I
that's
go even into 6 to 8 months, and people are like, "Are you serious?" And I'm kind of like, "Yeah." I mean, I've told
yeah,
patients, they'll come in and I'll say, "We're gonna work on this for a year." I'm not gonna see you every week. I'll see you maybe once a
yeah,
month or maybe
yeah,
every 3 months.
yeah.
But you got to give your body time to heal. You guys give the body time to heal, and you will see phenomenal, phenomenal results.
What I love to say is be patient and consistent.
Yes.
Because
I
I
just
think,
thought of one last thing. Keep
okay,
going, and then I just got to
no,
say
I
one last
think that
thing.
with anything, as modern humans, we get so caught up in how fast we can see results.
Oh yeah.
And this is why in our modern medical industry, they're used to covering symptoms. You cover a symptom, so that symptom might go away, and you think your
Yeah.
problem is solved. But the problem is when you go after something and you're going after it to heal yourself, there's a length of time that you need to spend and you need to expect. So when you're healing your lungs, as with anything else, you need to give yourself some time, and you need to be patient, and you need to be consistent.
But I'll tell you this much. I mean, she's already getting in testimonials that it's
Yeah.
speeding healing time up
We've
like
only had this out for
massively.
3 weeks. There's a
Yeah,
woman
yeah.
who
Oh yeah.
was burned some firewood. One of our customers, she burned some firewood over Thanksgiving
Hmm.
that was bad, or
Yeah, it was
it
contaminated. I'm assuming it probably had some mold on it or some.
probably,
Yeah.
and it gave her really bad respiratory issues, like
Yeah.
immediately, and so she suffered with this. Our long blend came out on December 21st.
Hmm.
So we brought it out, and she bought a bottle immediately. And I got this email from her. She said within 2 days her lungs
Oh,
had
I
opened
remember
up.
that. So
So
cool.
she's still on it, but she's just like she was.
It opened up. She could breathe again. It was
Right,
phenomenal.
right, right, right.
The last
So
thing I'll say to this is in the lungs are sadness, grief, a sense of kind of stuck, settled, unsettled, those type of feelings, and that is the other thing that you have to take care of. And with that, you guys, I'm telling you what, your lungs can heal. I mean, it's so beautiful. I love being able to
take your and to
it
take
just
a huge deep
take
breath.
a huge deep breath.
Yeah,
And so that's the other component is you've actually got to exercise the lungs. You've
yeah,
got to get out. You've got to give a
yeah.
little bit of appropriate managed stress to those lungs, exercise, and just get that deep breathing so that you can heal those lungs.
There's so much you can do with your breath.
Ah,
So much you can do with your breath.
maybe
I
that's
have a
probably not
little
in the video,
tattoo right
but
here that says breathe
she has
because
to remind herself to breathe.
I know, like I tattoo on.
I just do it. I just breathe automatically. She has to remind
All
herself.
right, all right.
Just joking. Oh yeah,
No,
breathe.
no, no. So this
Sorry.
is for me it's deep breathing, but
Oh,
but
okay.
it's true. That's you
Breathe.
can totally be my brother and make fun of me all you want.
You
But
guys, we just love to have fun.
no, and I already know that. But the thing
Oh
is,
man.
if you take a huge deep breath, imagine if you were unable to do that. And some of you might have
Ah.
experienced what it feels like to not be able to fill your lungs completely with air. So
Mm,
that is a gift, and it does amazing things for your body. So
it
thanks
does.
for putting up with our hijinks for this long.
Bless your lungs.
Yes, bless your lungs. Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Do you want to gather that up and click?